They say that once you get to the top, you realize that it's lonely. Must there be something more? Isn't there something greater than just success in this world? Is there something that's so awesome, so great, that it can't fail to make you happy? Let's consider. Hello, I'm Chico. Welcome to the advAnswer Apologetics, moving faith forward. I also have a channel called the Philosopher Channel. Check out on my featured channels for that. And in that channel, we've started to talk about happiness. To sort of bring the two channels together, I'm talking today about happiness as well. But here I'm giving you happiness as a reason to believe that God exists. So this is an apologetics channel. The other one is a philosophy channel. But oftentimes the two of them overlap. Surprisingly, the two of them overlap a lot of times. Before I do, though, let me say a couple more things. Number one, I'm rocking the Vagamundo shirt. Just so I explained what it is on the Philosopher Show. But just so you know, if you're ever in the Dominican Republic, highly suggest you hit up this place. It is a waffles and coffee shop, the only one on the island. But what's cool about it is I went on there on a mission trip and we worked at this orphanage that's called Niños de la Luz, Children of the Light. Really awesome place. I can't say enough about what great work they're doing there. And they started this restaurant, and the proceeds go to the orphanage. And oftentimes the orphans, when they grow to the age where they're ready to go off on their own, they can work at the place as well. And you know, get their feet on the ground or keep working there or whatever. And it's such a great idea. It's such a great place. It was voted #1 place to eat in Cabarete in Dominican, the city of Dominican Republic, La República Dominicana. So yeah, highly suggest. Please check it out if you're ever up there. Also, I started recently a philosopher podcast, and in it, I'm also talking about happiness this week. The most recent one is, can we be wrong about whether we're happy or not? Yeah, so check that out. And check out the Philosopher blog as well, please. I am talking this week about, what was it? About, does happiness get in the way of success? So check those out. But today, we're talking about happiness and God. So there was this great Twilight Zone episode. It was called A Nice Place to Visit, as in, but I wouldn't want to live there. And really good, if you've never seen the Twilight Zone, I think it was like 50s or 60s television. Surprisingly interesting, great philosophy. And in this episode, imagine this guy. He's a gangster, but back in the the Tommy gun days. That's a terrible accent. But this guy is gunned down by the police, and he kind of wakes up in the afterlife. There is a being there that says that he's sort of going to be his guide throughout the afterworld, and in the afterworld he's actually it just looks like regular city, and he brings him up to a casino, and he says, I think that you love casinos, correct? And the guy's like, yeah, I do. That's weird. So he brings him to this casino, and he says, your place that you're going to be staying for all of eternity is the penthouse suite. Whoa, sweet. I could never stay there in real life, right? And now I get to stay here forever in the afterlife. Awesome. He says you can have as much money you want to gamble. And every time he gambles, he wins. Jackpot on the first time that he puts a quarter in to the machine. And every single time he puts a quarter in the machine, jackpot. He asks him, what do you want to do now? And he goes, dames. I want dames, beautiful dames. So he brings in 3 beautiful, by those standards, beautiful girls. And when he gets sick of them, he gets 3 more. And he gets all this stuff, and the video, the show goes on. You see him winning and winning and winning, and ultimately he starts to get bored. Right? Ultimately, he starts to just not enjoy himself anymore. And at the end of the episode, he's talking to his guide, and he says, I think there's been a mistake here. I don't think I belong in heaven. This is like 50s programming, so they're not allowed to say the word hell. And he says, I think I belong in the other place. And the guy says, what makes you think you're in heaven? This is the other place. Ha 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 ha. Right? Surprise, the guy was actually in hell. And imagine that. Imagine you got everything you ever wanted and it made you miserable. You got everything you ever wanted and you realize it's not going to be enough. The things in this world seem to be good things, but they also seem to be of a limited good. Right? They don't seem to be unlimited in their goodness. It seems like they're going to fulfill us, but only so much. And then after that, we still have the desire for happiness. We still have some desire in there that hasn't been sated. Not only that, but the good things in this world also can be lost. Right? At any moment, you can lose it. I had a good buddy, Patrick Steele, P. Sizzle, I used to call him. He passed away very recently, and he was quadriplegic. And before that, he was an awesome surfer, loved the beach, and even after he was paralyzed, he would love to go to the beach. But man, that surf was his life, and just like that, it was taken away, you know? And I could always see how sad he would be, like, oh, not always, but there were times when he was very sad, I could see, because we were at the beach. There I was, coming out of the water, there he was, just sitting there watching, you know? The things in this world are great. God makes all things good, however, in a limited way. And we have this unlimited desire for goodness, right? A desire for goodness that seems like it never quite gets fulfilled. So imagine this. Imagine that you got whatever it is that you want in this world, whether it be surfboards, whether it be success, whether it be money, and you got an unlimited supply of it. Eventually you're going to think, you know, this isn't enough, right? Is this it? That's how I think you're eventually going to see it. So it seems like we could only be happy if we have something that is of an unlimited good. Something that's going to make us happy would only be making us happy if we were not able to go through all of its goodness. If it were an infinite good, in other words. Also, something that we couldn't lose, right? It seems like we would only be happy if we knew, like, we weren't ever going to lose this. We wouldn't have to just be like, oh my gosh, you know, I've only got this for a certain period of time, or I hope nobody steals this thing, right? But the only thing that you can't lose, the only thing that would be an infinite good would be God, right? All other things are limited in their goodness. So only God can actually make you happy, right? As St. Augustine said, seems like we're all created with a God-shaped hole in our hearts, and we are going to be restless until we find our rest in Him. So yeah, it seems like the only thing that can make us happy is God. But then think about, it seems like all of our decisions, all of our choices, everything that we do seems to be to get us to happiness, for us to be happy, right? Now imagine a thing that was that existed for a particular purpose, but that purpose didn't actually exist. This is an argument from C.S. Lewis. Imagine there was a fish, but there was no such thing as water. You know, we saw it flopping around, and you ask me, what's wrong with this thing? And I say, oh, it needs water. What's water? I don't know. It doesn't exist. What? How bizarre is that? Right? That would be an absurd thing to exist, right? So it seems like, you know, if you were made for some purpose, then that purpose must exist. But then look at us. We are made with this it seems like, with this goal in mind. You know, it's not enough for us to survive. It's not enough for us to have enough food, to be healthy. Like, we need more, right? We long for this thing, happiness. If God didn't exist, we would be absurd creatures, right? But then, if we are going to go that far and say maybe we're just absurd creatures, if you're willing to accept absurdity, then all logic goes out the window, right? You're saying that it's possible for something to exist that doesn't make any sense. Well, then, you know, I don't know. Then why do we even do science? You know, why do we do anything? Because there's no reason. It all could be absurd, right? So, it seems like the best solution here is there must be this thing that we are created for. This thing must exist. Therefore, we should believe in God. If we think that if we think about happiness, right, it seems like it leads us to the belief in this thing that will make us happy. So again, please check out those other media. And if this has helped your faith or your understanding of the Christian faith, if you're seeking or you're just interested, please like, comment, and please definitely share this with other people. It would really help me out. And if you have further questions, please feel free to comment below. I'd love to take any questions. As I've said before in this channel, I was once I wasn't always a Christian. I was once an atheist, and I've also believed in a bunch of other things. So I'm not going to get offended by any of your questions, because I probably have had those myself. But yeah, I'd love to answer any questions, and that's all I got for today. Adios.